Gregory's smile tightened, his confidence slipping. The Balaza GT features a turbocharged V8, premium leather interior, top-line safety tech, he said, rattling it off like a grocery list, no passion, no sparkle. Across the room, two other salesmen exchanged glances, whispering behind manicured hands. They saw her, judged her, dismissed her. Amelia leaned in slightly, her voice calm and deliberate. "I'd like to experience how it handles. Could we arrange a test drive?" Gregory shifted uncomfortably. His facade slipped further. "Our policy requires pre-approval from our finance department before test drives," he said, as if explaining rules to a troublesome child. "Security purposes. I'm sure you understand." Amelia smiled slow and steady, the way a seasoned chess player does before the winning move. "I won't need financing," she said, voice level. "I intend to pay in full." The words landed like a crack across the polished showroom. Gregory blinked, recovering quickly into his practiced skepticism. "I see. Well, we would still need some verification of funds. Standard policy." "Of course," Amelia said, already pulling out her phone. "I can show you my banking app." Before she could tap it open, Gregory coughed and glanced nervously toward a glass-walled office at the far end of the showroom. "Perhaps my manager should assist further." Translation: "I don't believe you." Without waiting for her agreement, Gregory led the way, walking half a step ahead. A subtle assertion of dominance. Amelia followed, unbothered, each step burning the memory of their treatment deeper into her mind. Inside the office, a man with cold eyes and a charcoal suit looked up. "Kenneth Peterson," the plaque read. "Manager." "Gregory, is there a problem?" Kenneth asked, already dismissing Amelia with a single, sweeping glance. "Ms." Gregory faltered, realizing he hadn't bothered to get her full name. "Just Amelia," she supplied smoothly, extending her hand. Kenneth's handshake was dry and brief. "Of course. Please have a seat." Amelia sat, poised and composed, while Gregory hovered behind her like a chaperone. Kenneth laced his fingers together and leaned across the desk. "I understand you're interested in our premium line," he said, with a tone that suggested he didn't believe it for a second. "Yes, the Balaza GT fits my needs perfectly." Kenneth smiled, that special kind of condescending smile that only grows with power and poor character. "And what needs would those be?" Amelia met his gaze evenly. "I travel frequently between Chicago and Milwaukee. I want something reliable, comfortable, with excellent safety features, and, yes, I appreciate a little luxury." Kenneth nodded, his smile deepening, becoming almost paternal. "Understandable, though." He tapped a pen against the desk. "There are many vehicles that provide reliability and comfort at a more suitable price point." The meaning was clear. "Not for you, sweetheart." Amelia's patience thinned, but she didn't let it show. "I've done my research. I'm here specifically for the Balaza." Kenneth's fake smile widened further, polished over years of disappointing the wrong people. "Research is wonderful," he said, voice syrupy. "But our experience helps guide customers toward more appropriate choices." Translation: "You're not the kind of woman who buys a Balaza." Amelia folded her hands neatly in her lap. "I'd like to test drive the Balaza GT," she repeated, her voice a blade wrapped in velvet. "Today." For a second, silence wrapped the office. Then Kenneth exchanged a long look with Gregory, the decision already made between them. Kenneth leaned in, lowering his voice like he was sharing a grand secret. "Perhaps we should be direct. Premium vehicles require certain financial prerequisites," Kenneth said, his voice slipping into a patronizing drawl. "We can't simply allow anyone to take a 115-0 car out for a spin." "Anyone," Amelia repeated in her mind, raising a cool eyebrow. Kenneth shifted slightly, sensing he'd said too much. "I simply mean," he backpedaled, "we have protocols. Without verified financing or proof of ability to purchase—" "I can pay cash," Amelia cut in, her voice crisp. "I'd be happy to show you my account balance." Kenneth's smile remained pasted on, but a thin crack ran through it. "Even with available funds," he said carefully, "we have a responsibility to ensure our vehicles are matched with appropriate buyers." "I fully understand," Amelia replied, her voice honey, smooth but iron underneath. The drama unfolding inside the glass office hadn't gone unnoticed. Salespeople stole glances under the pretense of adjusting papers or answering non-existent phone calls. The predators smelled blood. Kenneth dropped all pretense. "I'll be straightforward. The Balaza GT might not be the best fit for your lifestyle. Gregory can show you our certified pre-owned selection instead." The insult floated in the air, delicate, poisonous. Amelia took a slow breath, steadying the pulse hammering at her temples. "I'd like to speak with someone else," she said. Kenneth's mask slipped a fraction, revealing the sharp annoyance underneath. "I'm the sales manager," he said tightly. "Everyone here follows the same policies." Beside him, Gregory added just loud enough for the showroom to hear. "No money, no test drive. It's for everyone's protection." The words struck like a slap public, humiliating, deliberate. A textbook maneuver, Amelia thought grimly. Not aggressive enough to be sued for discrimination, just enough to make you want to leave. "I see," she said quietly, standing. As she walked from Kenneth's office, Amelia felt the heat of dozens of eyes drilling into her back, whispers, chuckles, pitying glances. Kenneth followed, speaking a little too loudly. "Please understand, ma'am, we'd be happy to assist you with more suitable options." Suitable. Another knife carefully slipped between the ribs. Amelia paused at the center of the showroom, drawing herself up to her full height. "I'm still interested in the Balaza," she said clearly, addressing no one and everyone. A younger salesman across the floor hesitated, an uncertain kindness flickering across his face, but Gregory blocked her path. "I'm afraid Mr. Peterson has the final say on premium test drives," Gregory said, all false regret. "But I'd be happy to show you something more appropriate." The word hung between them like a dare. Amelia smiled thinly. "And what exactly makes the Balaza GT inappropriate for me, Mr. Norton?" Gregory darted a glance at Kenneth, who gave a subtle nod of permission. "The Balaza represents a significant investment," Gregory said, voice condescending. "Our experience shows that customers who arrive, unaccompanied and without appointment, typically aren't prepared for vehicles in this class." "Unaccompanied?" Amelia repeated slowly. "Would your approach be different if I had a man with me?" The question froze the room. Nearby, customers pretended not to listen and utterly failed. Gregory's polished mask slipped for a heartbeat. "That's not what I meant." "Isn't it?" Amelia said, cutting him off with perfect calm. "I wonder how many men in casual clothes you've turned away from test drives today." Kenneth stepped forward, a warning note creeping into his voice. "Our policies apply to everyone." "Do they?" Amelia asked, pointing subtly toward the entrance. A middle-aged man in jeans and a polo shirt was laughing with another salesman right as they handed him keys to a silver sports car. Kenneth barely spared the man a glance. "I assure you he's a pre-qualified client." "How convenient," Amelia said, her voice razor-edged behind the polite smile. Deep inside, anger simmered, but she held it. She was here to see exactly this, to expose it. "Perhaps I should speak with the owner," she said lightly, savoring the delicious irony of her words. That triggered open laughter from some of the sales team. Kenneth smirked. "The owner?" he repeated mockingly. "Miss Amelia, Mr. Blackwell sold this dealership last week. The new ownership group is based out of state. I doubt they're concerned with individual test drive requests." Little did he know. Amelia checked her watch. Daniel would be arriving within the hour earlier than scheduled to catch the staff in their natural habitat. She only needed to endure a little longer. "I'll wait," she said, moving toward the customer lounge with unhurried grace. "As you wish," Kenneth said, barely disguising his disdain. The lounge was cold and impersonal. Amelia settled into a stiff leather sofa, phone in hand, pretending to scroll. Around her, the sales staff resumed their game's loud jokes, sidelong sneers, lazy disinterest. She observed. She remembered. She recorded it all silently. 40 minutes crawled by. Then the main doors swung open. Amelia's heart lifted, though her face remained composed. Daniel Richardson stepped inside, a quiet storm wrapped in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit. At 6'1", with salt and pepper hair and an undeniable command of the room, he drew every gaze without trying. Unlike her, Daniel was immediately approached Gregory, nearly jogging to intercept him. "Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to North Lake Luxury Auto," Gregory gushed. "I'm Gregory Norton. How can I assist you today?" Daniel offered a polite smile but didn't rush his reply. He scanned the showroom like a general surveying a battlefield. His eyes found Amelia just for a second. Recognition flickered, then vanished. His face stayed neutral. "I'm interested in your premium line," Daniel said, turning back to Gregory. "Particularly the Balaza GT." Gregory's grin widened. "An excellent choice, sir. Right this way." He led Daniel eagerly toward the very car Amelia had been denied, falling over himself to highlight the leather, the sound system, the exclusivity. Behind them, Kenneth emerged from his office like a shark scenting blood. He extended his hand with professional greed. "Kenneth Peterson, sales manager. A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Richardson." Daniel took the handshake, but his mind was elsewhere, already noting every flaw, every crack in the facade. The reckoning had begun. "Daniel Richardson," he said firmly, gripping Kenneth's hand just long enough to make the power shift clear. If the name registered, Kenneth gave no sign oblivious. The acquisition had been quiet, after all. Only upper management knew. The official announcement was still a week away. "Welcome to North Lake, Mr. Richardson," Kenneth said, his enthusiasm bubbling over. "I see Gregory is showing you our Balaza GT, a remarkable vehicle." "Yes," Daniel said, his voice smooth. "It caught my eye immediately. I'd like to arrange a test drive." "Absolutely," Kenneth beamed, already envisioning a fat commission. "We can prepare the paperwork immediately. Would you like to review the specifications while we arrange it?" Daniel's eyes slid across the showroom, resting on the figure seated quietly in the customer lounge. "Actually," he said, smiling faintly, "I'd like my wife to join me. She's been waiting quite some time to see this model." Kenneth's smile faltered, ever so slightly. "Your wife?" Daniel turned and called across the gleaming floor. "Amelia, would you join us, please?" Every head turned. Amelia rose from the sofa, simple blouse and pink cardigan now commanding the entire room's attention. She walked calmly, every step peeling back the thin veneer of power Kenneth thought he held. Confusion flickered across Kenneth's face, then dawning horror. Gregory stood frozen, slack-jawed. "Hello, darling," Amelia said warmly, brushing Daniel's cheek with a kiss before turning to Kenneth, her smile pleasant but merciless. "Mr. Peterson and I were just discussing this exact model," she said lightly. He was explaining why I couldn't possibly test drive it. Daniel's eyebrow lifted, his expression mild but his eyes sharp as knives. "Is that so?" he said. "I'd love to hear more about that policy." The color drained from Kenneth's face. He stammered, grasping for footing he no longer had. Mrs. Richardson, there seems to have been a misunderstanding." Gregory's practiced salesman grin had vanished completely. "No misunderstanding," Amelia said coolly. "You were quite clear. The Balaza GT isn't appropriate for someone like me. In fact, I believe the exact phrase was, 'No money, no test drive.'" Daniel's face remained calm, but steel laced his words. "Interesting policy," he said softly, "especially considering my wife's name is on half the ownership documents for this dealership." The silence was suffocating. Kenneth swallowed visibly, voice thin. "Mr. Richardson, if we had known." Daniel cut him off sharply. "That's precisely the problem." His voice carried across the frozen showroom, every employee now suddenly very invested in their shoes. "You shouldn't need to know who someone is to treat them with respect." Amelia touched Daniel's arm lightly, a silent request to take the lead. He stepped back, giving her the floor. Amelia turned, sweeping her gaze across the staff. "I came here today to experience this dealership as an ordinary customer," she said. "To see how you treat people when you think no one important is watching." Eyes dropped, faces flushed. "I spent 15 years in customer service before meeting Daniel. I worked my way up from cashier to regional manager. I know the difference between enforcing policies and using them to humiliate." Kenneth floundered, desperate. "Mrs. Richardson, I assure you, if there was any impression of disrespect—" "There was no impression," Amelia said, her voice cutting clean through his protest. "There was a deliberate, systematic effort to make me feel unwelcome based on my appearance." Daniel stepped forward, his words measured, final. "I acquired this dealership because of its reputation for excellence." But clearly that reputation has been built on exclusion, not service. He turned to address the whole showroom. For those who don't know, he said, I'm Daniel Richardson, CEO of Richardson Auto Group. As of last week, we own this dealership. Tomorrow, our transition team arrives to begin assessments. The implications slammed into the room like a sledgehammer. Kenneth's knees practically buckled. Gregory's mouth worked uselessly. No words coming. This was supposed to be a quiet visit, Daniel continued, voice grave. A chance to observe operations and make staffing decisions. Gregory found his voice at last, trembling. Mr. Richardson, please, you have to understand. Daniel's smile was cold. I understand perfectly. I saw how you treat customers who don't match your assumptions about wealth. The fallout was swift and merciless. Within the week, Kenneth and Gregory were gone. Their desks cleared, their names scrubbed from the website. In their place, new team members rose, ones who understood that luxury wasn't stitched into leather seats. It was sewn into respect. Amelia personally led the transition. New training programs launched, focused not on protocol, but on dignity. The atmosphere changed. Smiles became genuine. Glances became welcoming. 1 month later, Amelia returned. Same white blouse, same pink cardigan. A young consultant, Thomas, greeted her at the door with a warm smile. Good morning, Mrs. Richardson, he said. Here to see Daniel? Actually, Amelia said, her smile slow and radiant. I'm here as a customer today. I'd like to test drive the Billionaire GT. Thomas didn't blink. Absolutely, he said, already reaching for the keys. Whenever you're ready. As Amelia slid into the driver's seat, feeling the leather hug her body, she glanced through the glass wall of the dealership. Daniel stood at his office window, watching with quiet pride. Some lessons, she thought, were worth teaching the hard way. Have you ever been underestimated based on your appearance? We all carry stories, moments when others judge too soon and too small. If Amelia's journey resonated with you, share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear where you're reading from today. And remember, true luxury, true character is never found in price tags or polished floors. It's found in how we choose to see each other and how we choose to act when no one's watching.